We're ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Meriwether County August 24th, 2021, 6 p.m. meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. If everyone will, please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you would, please bow with me. Lord, we just come to you today, just thanking you for the many blessings you've sent our way, Lord, and for all the great things that you continue to do for us. We're thankful. Father, we just ask you to be in our midst tonight. Just give us that good gift, that wisdom that can only come from above to make the decisions that you would have made here this day to benefit Meriwether County as well as your name. In Christ Jesus, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. If you have any phones or any devices, please make sure they're on mute for the remainder of the meeting. We'll go ahead and adopt the agenda. Is there anything needed to be added? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Next item number 3 is the minutes from the August 11th, 2021, 9 a.m. meeting. If you all have had time to read those minutes, are there any need for changes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Municipal comments. Do not see any cities on. Constitutional officers, I do not see. And we won't do department heads, but we will stop at this point and make a announcement of someone that has joined us tonight. I'll introduce Ms. Michelle Irizarry. She will be our new county administrator starting on September 13th. Is that correct? Yes, sir. September 13th. So we welcome her aboard and looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
You can do a short speech if you'd like.
All right, next item is public hearing. Do I have a motion? Case number 1, case 20-2021, John Knight request to rezone 10.47 acres on Gold Mine Road. Do I have a motion to go into public hearing for case number 20-2021?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. We are in public hearing at 6:02.
Good afternoon. This is in Commissioner Hines' district. Mr. John Knight, which is sitting behind me here, has requested a rezoning of 10.47 acres on Gold Mine Road, known as tax parcel 046001, from an LDR, which is a 5-acre minimum, to an RD, which is 2-acre minimum. Mr. Knight plans to create 5 residential lots. His purpose proposes to build 2,500 square foot homes on each lot. Mr. Knight has built houses on the opposite end of Gold Mine, like the ones he plans to build on this parcel. Properties in this area range from 2 acres to 11 acres. This rezoning would have a negative effect on the property values in the area, and Planning and Zoning recommends rezoning this property.
Would not have a negative effect.
No, ma'am.
Any commissioners have any questions?
No, at this point.
All right. Thank you. Is there anyone signed up to speak during public hearing?
I'm just here if
Come on,
anyone
Mr.
has any questions.
All right.
But yeah, as he was saying, I'm requesting to turn 10.5 acres into 5 lots that are averaging 2.1 acres each. The homes will sell for mid to high 200s. There'll be 4 to 5 bed and 3 to 4 bath and approximately 2,500 square feet. They'll be similar to a product we've already built on Gold Mine Road and on Forest Road, like the black lines attached here, and some of these renderings. And then the last page, you can see the actual property and how it would be divided.
The ones that were built on the opposite end of Gold Mine, what's the acreage size lots on those?
I know the minimum was 2, and I think that they all were closer to 3.
right where you are, you're gonna have water. Is it gonna be available for the houses?
No, sir, these will be on well.
You're gonna put these on wells?
Yes, sir.
Any commissioners have any questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Moore. Did anyone sign up?
I signed, a couple other people signed, but I don't know if they were meaning to sign for this one. But they didn't sign.
Was there anyone here that wanted to speak in reference to this public hearing? Okay. All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to go out of public hearing?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries, we are out of public hearing at 6:05. Hearing the recommendations and no opposition here tonight, what is the pleasure of the board?
I move we rezone.
Put that in form of motion. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries.
All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
All right.
Next item, item number 21-2021, Mr. Alan Jackson to request to rezone 1125 Charlie Fuller Road. Do I have a motion to go into public hearing for case number 21-2021?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries, we are in public hearing at 6:06.
All right, this also is in Commissioner Hines' district. Mr. Alan Jackson, which is not able to be here tonight, he is kind of under the weather, so his nephew is here. If there's any questions, he's actually on the application also.
Okay.
His name is Mr. Jackson also. He's requested a rezoning at 1125 Charlie Fuller Road, also known as tax map parcel 047008. Property is currently zoned as LDR, which is 5 acre minimum. Want to go to a neighborhood commercial zoning. Mr. Jackson would like to operate an automobile body repair shop. There's currently a 30 by 35 garage on the premises that will be renovated, and a 20 by 15 additional will be added. The building will include an auto repair area, paint booth, and office space. Members of the 17 households on and around 1125 Charlie Fuller has signed a petition supporting Mr. Jackson's rezoning. Building Department recommends approval. In y'all's packet, you will see the
Signatures.
signatures. Also, Mr. Jackson has been working with the Health Department, and the Health Department's behind as usual, as far as the septic and different things like that for this repair shop. So we're still kind of pending, waiting on the Health Department to make their official ruling on this. He has submitted, which is not in y'all's packet, but he has submitted plans that has been reviewed and looked at, where he has air filter purifiers in the building, and he's going to, it'll be a first-class operation as far as that. Also, one of the recommendations that I told Mr. Jackson was he cannot have no more than 3 automobiles at a time sitting outside that building. You have 1 inside and 3 outside, and that's per ordinance. And he agrees to that. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
That's what I was gonna ask about was, you know,
Right.
vehicles sitting on the outside. I mean, obviously, all the neighbors have signed. How many parcels are there around him, did you say?
Yes, ma'am. Jody actually was, let's see, where's that? She did a little diagram. I know y'all can't see it. I can pass it around of where all the homes are, and they're all around the petition or up and down the road beside, right there at his property.
I think I count about 15 or so that are actually on Charlie Fuller Road.
Yes, ma'am. And a lot of those, majority of them are family members.
Okay.
And some of those on that petition, if you look real close, some of them live in the same household. We have not received any complaints or opposition to this.
Butch, on any of our requests, I suppose we always have the disclaimer they will follow all federal, state, and local.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jackson's here if y'all would like to ask him anything.
All right, thank you, Butch.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, doing well, how are you?
How you doing?
Okay.
Seems like we've seen you before.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, how everybody?
All right, so you're in agreement, this is your uncle's, right?
Yes, sir.
But you're gonna be in with him?
We in together, but like I said, he normally come down here and do the speaking without him at work, but due to the COVID, whatever, he kind of like under the weather with me.
All right, gotcha. So looks like everybody on the road is in agreement with it. Did anybody sign up to speak?
Well, I mean, I did, but I didn't know I have to or not. Like, okay. So do I have to speak?
You don't have to say this as you come up.
Right, okay.
I mean, as long as it's no problem with, following the rules set forth by our ordinance, now especially about the vehicles, that would just be my concern is how it would look on the outside. I don't have any problem with that.
Any other commissioners have anything?
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, so do we have a motion to go out of public hearing?
So moved.
Have a motion, to have a second? Motion and a second, all in favor? We're out of public hearing at 6:11.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hearing the recommendation from the building and zoning, do I have a motion from the board?
Make a motion to approve the request to rezone.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Let me ask something, Butch. EPD requirements regarding a paint booth.
They're pretty stringent.
They are, and he's got them in the plans.
He does, okay.
And the plans will be reviewed by Safe Built to make sure everything is in order and it will be inspected.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, learned something tonight. Thank you, Michelle. All right, so item number 3 under public hearing, case number 23, 2021, road closure request. Edwin Madden, request for closure, Maiden, approximately 2,438 feet on Walnut Creek. Do I have a motion to go into public hearing number 3?
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. We are in public hearing number 3 at 6:13.
Mr. Edwin Madan is in attendance tonight. He's sitting back here. Y'all probably all know him. Mr. Madan requests closure of a portion of Walnut Creek Road east of Jones Mill Road. Mr. Madan requests the approximately is 2,438 feet on Walnut Creek to be closed. He owns a property on both sides of the road and says, and there has been dumping and trash and illegal hunting on his property. There are no houses, there are no other landowners, there's no power lines, there's nothing, no kind of utilities down that road. Code enforcement has been out there many times with trash on that road. I drove that road. It took me, that little section of dirt road, it took me about 2 minutes to go down that road. When I got over to where Walnut Creek comes out on Jones Mill, I took a left, went down to the stop sign and turned and come back up MLAC, and it took me about 2 minutes. So the travel distance because of the dirt road and the potholes and the mud is actually about the same if you go down to the stop sign and come back up on a paved road. I talked to Public Works Director Tyrell Johnson. He's in favor of closing the road. I've talked to Brandon Jones, E911 Director. He's in favor of closing the road also.
But you understand, Mr. Madan owns the land on both sides of that road. Is that
Correct, yes, sir. From stop sign to stop sign, he owns the property.
In case of emergencies or anything like that, there are other routes that could be used.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, is it's the same amount of time to go down Jones Mill to MLAC to the red light, to the stop sign, and then come back where that road cuts through. But it's a lot better because it's a paved road, where this road that he's wanting to close, it's a pretty rough dirt road, and there's a couple of places that's really, really muddy. And Tyrell, honestly, he was kind of tickled if we could close that.
All right. Any commissioners have any questions? All right. Thank you, Butch. Yes, sir. Did anyone sign up to speak on this one, Mr. Madan? Doing well.
Hey, how are you?
Almost finished.
Butch pretty much covered everything that we had talked about earlier, and the biggest thing is just having trouble with people dumping trash during deer season. They're shining deer. There's a pecan orchard there. It's what sits right behind Fitzgerald Farms building there. And they ride around in the pecan orchard at night because they have access to it off that dirt road and shine deer, which is illegal and dangerous also. And a lot of dumping of deer carcasses during deer season on the side of the road. Like Butch said, it hadn't been maintained in some years, and there's a lot of trash dumping out there. It would be great if I could just close it off, maintain it myself, and it would stop a lot of the problems.
Any commissioners have any questions? Mr.
Did you put
Madan?
up gates on either end?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Adams, she's got to be here tonight. On the road closure, she did ask if she would like to be present to hear that if possible. But I just relay that message. But it's that road is, it's not much of a road. It's short
I mean,
section.
but there's paved roads all around it for people to get around, so I
Right.
don't know that.
I mean, the only thing we can look at,
Half a
does it
mile.
serve a purpose?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I've just relayed that.
That would just delay it again. There wouldn't have to be any additional advertising or anything for the public, but we would have to do a public hearing, right?
You would have to discontinue
Right.
if you chose to do that.
When would it be continued to? I
Continue.
mean, I don't know if she has some additional information or concerns, but there's
Did
no
she
one here to
say?
speak against it.
Just that she wanted to kind of hear the information.
She didn't express any,
Not in particular.
all right. Thank you, Mr. Madan.
Thank y'all. I appreciate your time.
Do any commissioners have any other questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to go out of public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? We are out of this public hearing at 6:18. Mr. Gay just informed me that he had spoken to Commissioner Hines, who is not with us tonight, and she wanted us to delay this just to be able to hear the information provided, but to me, it's pretty cut and clear. What is the thoughts of the board?
Sure, just to remind y'all regarding the road closures, the standard is a little bit different than just general, which is there's got to be no substantial interest to the county or that it's otherwise in the best interest of the county. So just want to keep that in mind to the commissioner before motion or voters are ready.
And this request is from Jones Mill Road to Black Road. That's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
It is map pretty well covered.
It does, yes, it does.
I'll make a, go ahead. He makes a formal motion. I'll second it because I'm.
Motion to-
I will make a motion, yes. Let's
To close the road?
Forward to close.
All right, have a motion,
I'll second.
have a second. All in favor? Motion carries, roads closed. Thank you very much. Item number 4, ordinance 2021-03, broadband ready community. Mr. Gay?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we have for you tonight the broadband ordinance. This is to get us to be a broadband ready community. We added this under the area of the ordinance that related to business and taxation and license. I didn't think it really went into well into another category. So we've already redone this, redone it in our ordinance, and we've discussed this before. This just allows us to be able to move forward with the designation of a broadband ready. We have a lot of requests and issues right now with broadband, and there's a lot of grant opportunities out there. So this is a key piece to do that.
So I need to sign that.
I'll be happy to answer any questions that.
Any commissioners have any questions for Mr. Gay?
The only question I have, this ordinance you're presenting now, when will we be able to vote on it? You want it voted
Motion
on?
close the public hearing, yes, sir.
Do we have a final form for them?
We do. I went ahead and did the, you took a name out, I noticed. Yeah. So this is the final form.
Doesn't eliminate the changes that we not talked about.
Thank you.
Any commissioners have any other questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to go out of public hearing?
So moved.
I don't think anybody signed up to speak, did they, for this?
Yeah.
All right. Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? We are out of public hearing at 6:21. Huh?
Just making sure.
I did,
Okay.
didn't I? Well, hey,
I don't know that we did, now that I think about it, but
Michelle said no.
we're,
I thought I did.
We just had so many of them tonight.
Yeah.
Administrator Gay, after reading off the.
So do we need to go back and make them?
Do I have a motion to go into public
So
hearing
moved.
for ordinance, item number 2021-03? Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? We're in this public hearing at 6:22. Do I have a motion to go out of public hearing?
motion to move out.
Second.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? All in favor? We're out of public hearing at 6:22. It's been a long day, y'all. Sorry. All right.
Well, that's easy to do.
Here in the recommendations, do I have a motion to move forward with this ordinance with broadband ready and allow the chair to sign?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Y'all just have to stop me and tell me.
It's wrong.
There is no unfinished business. The next item is new business. Item number 1, request from Wargo's Pumpkin Patch to close Johnson Road from the last weekend in September until the first weekend in November. Fridays from 9 to 12, Saturdays from 9 to 6, and Sundays from 1 to 6.
And Commissioner, y'all have done this in the past, and it's worked out very well. It's actually improved safety in and out of the facility. We would recommend that you allow the closure again this year.
Do any commissioners have any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to allow the closure for the time frame expressed?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Item number 2, participating agreement with the library system.
This is just an agreement to assure in both parties that there is, funding that will be available and has been allocated by the county. I have read this. They're going to require this of every, entity that is in agreement with them. And the only thing I will note on there, it just says that on page 2 indicates that the participating agreement will remain in force until any party or parties wishing to withdraw shall provide official notices in writing to the chair of the library board. But we go through a budget review every year, so that should not be a problem. And I really don't see us moving ourselves from the library system. So I'm okay with that. So we recommend approval.
Any commissioners have any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion with the agreement with the library system and allow the chair to sign?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Item number 3, discussion of Juke Line Road.
Got a call on Juke Line Road. Robinson Payne is doing some work there. And part of that work is going to be involve building the shoulders back up. They have identified a borrow pit area. Actually, it's owned by the city of New Orleans Springs. And they're looking at that, and because the overpass has been out for ever 2 days, they, if they follow the detour route, they're talking about having to go all the way around, right this red and back around, just to get to something they probably could see across the road. And so I kind of view that as really not a no through truck process, because they are actually working from point to point to be sure that we don't have any issues with it. They've agreed to lower the tonnage on their trucks by 30%. And they're only looking at like 3 or 4 days to be accomplished. So we would like to work with GDOT and these guys on being able to utilize the route from GDOT. With that, we would notify, I've already spoken to the sheriff about it. We would notify the motor carriers, we would notify the STDs about those.
I did mention it to the police chief in Warm Springs the other day, because Mr. Robinson did say that they would give us a few days notice for the 3 to 4 days that they need to use it. So, because we've just been on a real push about ticketing trucks coming through there. So we don't want to do that for these few
Well,
days.
it makes the borrow area like really almost unusable. It's such a close area.
It'll just be 3 or 4 days, and we don't have specific dates as of yet.
No, not as of yet.
And all they'll be moving is fill dirt.
All it will do is
Will they provide a tractor sweeper catching this out?
they're actually going to be putting it on the shoulders of the state route anyway. So what they'll
85.
be using.
Okay, and this
That's
is
where
just
they are.
daylight operation.
Right, it's daylight operation. They're going to be building up the shoulders to the parallel with the road and the grass and stuff.
They completed a long stretch of it today as far as the paving. And when I talked to them last week, they had said maybe 2.5 weeks, but I believe they're going to get through a little bit quicker than that if the weather holds out. But they finished a long stretch today.
So we just need to vote on allowing it. Any other commissioners? Do I have a motion to allow the use of Juke Line Road for 3 to 4 days that they will specify at a later date?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 4, set date and time for public hearing and adoption of fiscal year 2021-2022 millage rate.
Yeah. As you know, we finally got the property tax digest completed. It was 5-year history. We're asking the board if you would consider having a public hearing on the morning of your September the 8th meeting to approve the property tax digest.
And the school board's meeting the day before.
They're meeting the day before on the 7th to approve there as well. I'll send you guys a copy of that 5-year history. I'll email that to you tomorrow.
Any commissioners have any questions? Motion to allow to set the date for September 8th at 9 a.m. meeting for public hearing and adoption of the fiscal year 2021-2022 millage rate.
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
do we still have the meeting on August 30th?
No,
So
we-
that would be cut, this will be in place of that, okay. All
So
right.
we need to cancel that.
Cancel that call meeting, okay. I just want to make sure.
We can do that at our next meeting, Jim.
Good deal. That works great.
Yeah, I know. Item number 5, set public hearing for September 8th, 2021 for 2021-2022 budget.
Yeah, this is a 2-step process. We're gonna have a public hearing, the regular scheduled meeting on the 8th. And then we'll ask you to approve the budget on September 28th, which is your regular schedule.
So,
So should that say the 28th?
September the 8th is the first public hearing. Introduce the budget, and the 28th is to approve it.
so do we need to add the 28th or just the public hearing? Okay.
So that should be the 28th, right?
Nope, September 8th, we'll have the public hearing to set the date to adopt.
That meeting, we can set the.
We'll set it for the 28th. That's what you're saying. Okay, understand.
That was clear as mud.
Okay.
All right. Do I have a motion to allow to set public hearing for September 8th, 9 a.m. for fiscal year 2021-2022 budget?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 6, discussion and clarification of various funding requests to the Board of Commissioners. Mr. Gay?
Yes, sir. Chairman, Commissioners, recently we had kind of a rash of just, requests for assistance with this program or that program or whatever. And, those organizations may be very good. They may do phenomenal work here. And I think they're all well intended, but I was a little bit concerned that contributions to Meriwether County, it's illegal for us to utilize some of those requests. It's been my understanding that the programs have to have some kind of substantial benefit to the entire community, or the county has to be a partner in that particular program. And consider that, I wanted to ask Michael, I don't want to put him on the spot, but I wanted to ask Michael, his thoughts on that. And do you see the issue with funding the same way?
Mr. Gay is not wrong. There's a provision of the Georgia Constitution that actually prohibits what we call donations or gratuities without deriving a substantial benefit. This applies to both cities and counties as well as Georgia state. Substantial benefit is more than a general cause, so to speak. It's typically been classified as a bargain for exchange. There have been a few other exceptions that are probably not applicable to most things here. But generally speaking, you're not supposed to be able to use taxpayer funds, regardless of the merit of the cause, that you would pay to an individual, to a person or a corporation. Does that make sense?
It does.
It does.
Very clear. A lot clearer than Bill. Thank you.
We just, we want to make sure you guys had that information because, you get a lot of requests.
So what do we need to do from this point forward? Because we are getting quite a few of these requests, and we've gotten a few of them already that we have actually placed on hold.
I think, the best thing to do would be for them to maybe make a, request initially to the staff here, to the office. And then what we need to do is kind of analyze and take a look at them. And if they're not something that would qualify as.
If they're not deemed as a
Yes,
benefit.
and what we would do is just notify them that, the county, would not be able to
Well, we need
fund
to-
that request.
We need to reference what Michael has said then about why we can't do that. I mean, it makes perfect sense, because number one, if you do one, you're gonna have 1,500 more.
You are.
Well,
As well, but
too, without any criteria, so to speak, without a bargain for exchange where you're getting tipped for that, so to speak, there's nothing to prevent use of taxpayer funds. We're giving it to person A, we're not giving it to person B. There's no logic, there's no rational reason why other than preference. That's what I think part of the purpose is to avoid, is government favoring one person over another via the use of taxpayer funds.
Maybe what we'll do is get with Michael and just write up that criteria where somebody comes, we could, hand them a copy of it and say, hey, here's the criteria you got to meet. And if they don't meet it, then, there's really not a need making an application.
that's probably a good idea just to have that on hand, because just in light of us receiving the Recovery Act money, that was one of the things that lists in there about you could give money to whatever, which I think we decided we didn't want to do that because ultimately we would be accountable for it. But that may, just because that's out there, that may bring on more requests because.
But since we received or started receiving that, we've gotten multiple requests since then. All right, so we don't need to take any action. We'll just let it go.
We're just point of clarification.
All right. Yeah, we needed that.
Michael and I and Michelle will get together and kind of take a look at that.
She was going to run the meeting.
I was hoping she'd be over here. I was running to get here.
She said it'd be real short.
Yes,
All
I
right.
like that.
All right. Next item is report from the finance director. Mr. Beal.
You got in front of you the finance report, pretty standard. There are the general funds at 1.7 million. If you add the funds in the local government investment pool, state of Georgia is 2.059, and it was 3.849. The general fund, I look back a couple of years, last year at this time, we had 2.5. Way back in 2019, we had 828,000. You can see how far the county come in just really 3 short years. We're in good shape for the end of the year. We've got roughly 5 weeks left. We've got 3 more payrolls to fund. That's all I really have, unless you got any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Bill. Next item, report from County Administrator, Mr. Gay.
Thank you, sir. First and foremost, I'm very proud to have Michelle come to work with us. I'm looking forward to it. I know she is as well. And she's doing a phenomenal job. We've got a great staff here. And I think she's going to enjoy it. We got a lot going on, and I'm very happy to see her.
Yeah, he's smiling. He doesn't just smile all the time.
That's right. So with that said, I'm in the process of reviewing 2 applications for paving of dirt road. We have 2 applications in right now. We've had several calls over the last couple of weeks where I know Allison has sent out several other packets where they wanted to take a look at this. Preliminarily, in what I've looked at so far, I think maybe one of the applications qualified, one may not. But I will try to have that taken care of. I've just run out of daylight, honestly. And I'll try to have that taken care of and get that review and recommendation to you guys at your next meeting. This is something I need to talk to y'all, I guess, about afterwards, but the Boy Scout of America Citizens Award dinner is coming up this year. And it's Thursday, September 23rd at 6. And Mr. Jim Maymon and Dan and Marie Branch are going to be the recipient. So I thought y'all might have some interest in that. So we get together and take a look at that. We introduced Michelle, but I was a little late to do that, but I'm glad she's here. We've had several meetings to discuss broadband, including discussions of grants. Of course, that you guys did tonight with the broadband ready community was really good. So we appreciate that. We've met with Ms. Jade and others and Butch and his staff on new industry. Had a Zoom meeting on COVID and met with Carolyn McKinley and some representatives of the Warm Springs Institute and to discuss broadband. And I think that we talked about trying to get broadband to the airport. And I think if we get it to the airport, then that's kind of part of the plan. And they're willing to do that and talk about. And just been very busy. And that's all I have. I appreciate it. I got a couple of things that I'll just add to the next meeting. One is the LeBig, the bid contract. We had some changes in that, and the other is some public works equipment. We have listed a purchase order for those, but I'll put it back over. You guys can read about it. We can cancel it any time, but we need to get in the queue for the mini excavator and the track loader, because if we don't, we're not going to be able to get these anytime soon. And we're getting these off of the Sourcewell contract, which is a national bid. And what I'll do is I'll put that back on for you guys at the next meeting where you can read it. But we need to move forward with that, and we can, if the board decides for some reason not, we can cancel it. But we want to get it right. I'll bring that to you guys with issue. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item, report from county commissioners. Commissioner Plant.
I believe that's going to cover what we, Warm Springs on the pools or whatever. And the other thing Mr. Gay covered was the broadband. So, and the work continues on that. So, and of course, I appreciate all the help from all the employees and all on the new industry coming in. So that's moving along good. So other than that, and dirt roads and rain, need I say more? More rain. So, anyhow, yeah.
Mr. Hadley.
Commissioner Plant, Commissioner Threadgill and I met at the Little White House a couple of weeks ago, Then you met with the Friends, the executive director of the Friends of Georgia State Parks and Historic Sites, and also the Friends of the Little White House. And an effort is being made to try to obtain funds to restore the pools in Warm Springs. They are in complete disrepair. There is a nice museum there. And this group started back before COVID hit, and they've already raised $600 and something thousand through private donations. But they're asking for the governments to send letters of support and requests to the governor, to the Friends of State Parks, so they can use it in trying to get funds through foundations and, grants. So I just like to ask if the board would consider doing a letter of support. We have all the information. We have a sample letter. I have talked with the city of Warm Springs, Warm Springs Downtown Development Authority, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Warm Springs Merchants Group, and they're all writing letters in support. Drew Ferguson was here last week to meet with them and is supposed to be trying to help us on a federal level. They have the plan done, and it is not a renovation. It is a complete restoration project. It comes with a price tag of about $6 million. So there's a lot to do, but we've got a copy of the plan. It would be economically, it would be great for our county, for the town. It's just another part of the tourism from the Little White House. That's where they go when they leave the Little White House, but they can't get in there and see the pools. You can't get in there and touch it anymore. And again, it would be opened possibly three weekends out of the year for people to actually come and swim if they can get it restored. So I'd just like to ask the board if they would consider writing a letter of support to Governor Kemp and then to the Friends of Georgia State Parks and Historic Sites.
And it needs to be signed by all of us.
Y'all need to sign it if at all possible. And then if there's any individuals that would like to do a letter, I had a lady in Warm Springs today to tell me that her family, all of them had worked at the institute, and she would like to write a letter. And I said, by all means, whatever we can do. So,
The conversation we had that day about the March of Dimes,
yes.
you don't hear as much from the March of Dimes these days, but I was wondering too, if they had even been contacted and maybe would
Yeah, I don't
help
know.
to donate.
And they really had done a good job of reaching out to foundations and, and that kind of thing, and had COVID just sort of slowed it down, they had gotten started. So
We learned that day, in case people don't know the story, why Roosevelt's on the dime is because the March of Dimes actually helped to fund the pools that were there. So that's why he is actually on that dime.
and I have it in the car, but I have the sample letter and all the information about where it needs to be. One needs to be mailed and one needs to be emailed, but I'll get it before we leave and bring it in. If we could just, get our own letter together. I'm hoping maybe Miss Jane will do one. She was at the meeting as well.
Allison, could you do us one based on that with all our signatures?
Would it be possible for us to put it on our main webpage and ask citizens, reach out to citizens, Meriwether County, to use that as a sample and where to send it to?
Yeah. You give them all the information where to mail it. I think there'll probably be some other people to do it.
I think so too, and it could be, to help support the renovation for the pools.
City of Manchester was there. They're going to do
They're
one as
doing one
well.
as well, and their development authority, I think, was doing one as well. And of course, if we can get all the cities to do it, it'd be great, but they asked Manchester and Warm Springs just because of the, the proximity to the Little White House. So,
We could, we got a letter drafted up, if they send it out to the cities, we'll just draft a general letter. If they concerned, we may ask them to work with
yeah,
They gave us a sample letter.
I'll get it before I leave. It's in my car. And the other thing is I know I mentioned this last month, but October the 9th is the Harvest Hoedown, and it's mentioned in the Guide to Georgia book that we have today. It's in there, but it's October the 9th. On a big day in Warm Springs. I hope folks will come out and support that as well. And other than that, it's welcome to Michelle. We're glad you're here. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner McCoy?
Just a few comments I'd like to add as far as broadband. I think we're looking more now at a very comprehensive plan across the entire county. It's pretty much what the approach is going to be. And we have a lot of players getting involved and bringing them to the table. So it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves. Oh, roads have just been atrocious. I mean, we have more calls on roads and right-of-ways and it just seems like it's almost unending right now. And we have had so much rain that has occurred this year that it's really a hard job for Public Works to stay abreast of it. And they respond, maybe not that day, but they'll be there shortly. So I think we ought to give a shout out to them because they try to do the best they can out there. One thing other I was going to mention is the guide that you do have here. There's a nice article in here that addresses the Flint River Trail and our involvement with that. Just so the public would have notice of that. It looks like it's moving along, and just on the park down there, the state has been back in contact. They're working with their drawings and getting everything finalized so that can roll out, I assume, probably the first of next year. That's about all I have.
All right, thank you very much, and I don't have anything to add.
Can I go back and mention one thing? We had a young couple a couple of weeks ago lose their home to a fire. And I got a call from one of the neighbors out there just commending our fire department and how well they did in responding. Because if you know, when the fire happened, it was more, we had some storms and it was their power had been out, and they think that when the power came back on, there was a surge or whatever. But they had to go down the fire trucks had to go down a dirt road to get to it. And then they had to go across a pasture. Another homeowner had to come and help get our trucks through. I mean, it was just terrible, but they were really complimentary. And I did call Chief Smith and tell him that as well, but complimentary on the response and the results of I mean, unfortunately they lost their home, but they were very complimentary of what our fire department had done. I want to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item is report from the county attorney.
I have no report, and I do not believe there is any reason for executive session.
Sounds good to me. Let's see, next item is public comment. Is there anyone online that would like to speak for 3 minutes? Is there anyone here that would like to speak for 3 minutes? Really? Are you sure? Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I always, well, actually, there is.
Oh, come on up. You don't.
I'll give y'all a break on the bad part.
I figured when you didn't come in your heels, it wasn't that bad.
Exactly. When I wear heels, you know it's bad.
If you'll just state your name and address for the record.
Marcel Womack, 194 Turkey Trail Court. Yeah, no, I just wanted to commend the Public Works. I've done several emails over the last probably 2 weeks, you know, asking for road signs. You know, the stop signs were horrible, as y'all saw, you know, in that slideshow. You know, they've replaced all of those for us. I understand that they're printing up the road signs themselves that weren't ever there. And I did run into one person today that they were doing a sign, and I asked them about speed limit signs. And they said that there was no ordinance for speed limit signs. So I don't understand where you have other subdivisions that they have speed limit signs in them. And we do have, well, we had one before he took it down today because I asked for it to be replaced. And he said there was no ordinances or whatever, but I just don't understand because other subdivisions do have them. Now, my problem is, you know, youngins like dirt, going and riding dirt roads on the weekends. You know, mom and daddy don't know where they're at. Well, they're running down Beulah and they're going crazy in our subdivisions. And I understand that, you know, some of the people are residents that, you know, need to slow down, but it's other people as well. So if, you know, I'm not asking for stoplights, I'm just asking for some speed limit signs. You know, I mean, you know, so if we could do that, I would really appreciate it. I sent a email out today stating what roads that I would like them on. And, you know, that's all I really got today. Other than that, thank you.
We'll address it. Thank you.
Just a update on that. The reason it's not there is that it's GDOT has not classified it and put it on their list. We could add recommended, but the sheriff's office, well, they can't run radar on it. That's
Well, I
probably.
understand that.
But it would
It's-
get,
It's kind of like if you see it, it makes
Yeah.
you more aware.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
we do
hopefully.
need to slow down because we do have so many kids. You know, we'd like to walk down the road, but, you know, we're scared to because people are acting like Dukes of Hazzard down. Yeah, literally. So, and my suggestion was, usually in subdivisions, it's 25, from what I understand. I asked that it be put at 15 until we can get those subdivisions resurfaced. And at that time, we can put the rumble strips, or not rumble strips, the, what's it called, Sharon?
Speed break,
Yeah.
speed bumps.
Speed bumps.
Yeah.
And then, then they have to slow down. So if we could just do that in the meantime, that would be great.
We'll look into it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any
Here
commissioners?
is, this change order I mentioned earlier is for the Turkey Trail Court of Bobcat Trail. So, okay.
I'm sorry?
This is the change order for the paving to pick up those two roads is paving. It does.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, I don't see anyone else. Next section is executive session. Our attorney has said there is no need. Future meetings, September 6th, 2021 is a holiday. September 8th, 2021, our regular meeting will be at 9 a.m. September 21st, 2021, our regular meeting will be at 6 p.m. Is there anything else to come before this board? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Motion is, we're adjourned.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I know it says our